I go. Made a promise to my mother, it's okay, cause I'm gon' die for this. I put my mind to this. Watch all these people, how they treat you, got no time for it. I fear no evil, got my demons, I'm just fine with them. And all these people think they know me, it don't matter to me, cause I'm gon' die for this. I put my mind to this. Watch all these people, how they treat you, got no time for it. I fear no evil, got my demons, I'm just fine with them.
All right, everybody, welcome to another episode of 3 Point Stance Podcast. I am one of your esteemed co-hosts, Caleb Everhart, and I am with my guy, my brother, D. Gray.
Love that. Come on, man. Come on. Too ready for this. Too early in the week, man. We're already sharing tears about this crazy loss, and then we sharing tears of joy at this point. Man, let's just get right into it, man. I mean, it's a lot, man. It's a lot to talk about, man. I mean, 7-30, Steelers lose at home, and a crowd full of all 49 fans. 49 fans all over the place. That's not a good look.
It was miserable. I mean, seeing the fans from the beginning, you're like, what is this? This isn't a game in Pittsburgh. This isn't how we represent our city, anything like that. And then obviously the team, did what the fans did and didn't show up. So,
100%. And I mean, all those fans from 49ers definitely showed up, and they obviously put a lot of pressure on just not other Steelers fans, but the team itself. Kenny Pickett throwing 2 interceptions. I mean, the lowest QBR of his whole career as a Steeler. I mean, he was sacked 5 times. I mean, not only just quarterback felt the pressure from the fans in their own stadium, for like a away game for themselves. O-line did too. Starting with our left tackle, Dan Moore, that had ultimate struggles all through the game, dealing with a guy with fresh legs, new contract, big bucks, Nick Bosa. I mean, it was a long day for those guys. For not only just him, man. I mean, it's easy to point that guy out because of PFF, a program that I call it a program because they're not even real people. They program a program that puts out the worst ratings for everybody. Unless you're just flat out the best, they're gonna rate. If you're the best tackle, they're gonna rate you the best every week. If you're the worst, you're always gonna be the worst, even if you play good. So it's just bad. So, yeah. But I have to agree with PFF this time. It was a bad performance for our guy. I mean, only week 1, man. Left side struggle, man. They couldn't open up holes all day, man. Najee struggle. It was a slow day, man. Fred Warner coming through the gap between him and Sawat. How you pronounce his name? Salamalu. Just coming right through those two guys. Yeah. One of those guys is coming straight through that gap, man, on the left side and just killing him in the backfield. And I've yet to see Najee get taken down like that with a big hit. And Fred Warner was the person that just did that, put him right on his back pockets, man. And it was demoralizing for the fans to watch. It was sad. It was just really a bad day, man. As a Steelers fan, I mean, it was a bad day, man. First thing I thought about that day was like, how do we approach this on our podcast, man?
Yeah. It was like Jersey Jerry would say, it was a sad day. It was a bad day. Just super. My wife said it best. She was like, I hate it when football season's back, especially on weeks the Steelers lose.
It's an uncomfortable feeling, man. It was an uncomfortable feeling, man. Not only just that they took a big loss, man. They took a big loss with injuries, man. We have so many injuries that need to be accounted for, man. We have Chooks that went out for concussion, Cam that went out with a groin that's now currently been put onto IR now. So we have new guys that have to step up. You know what I mean? You had James Daines that came out of nowhere with an unknown injury after the game. I mean, it was just more guys just falling, and it's like, well, that's the last thing we need at week 1 after week 1 loss. You know what I mean? You lost players and you lost the game. Now you have to get ready for a divisional rival next week. That's not a good look already.
Yeah, and apparently I saw this stat last year that any team, win or lose, that played the 49ers the week prior went 0-15 last year.
Oh, wow.
So hopefully we can break that trend.
That's all a hoax. That's not 100% true. Let's not get scared, still, fans. Let's not get scared. We still have some hope. I mean, right now, man, the defensive line for the defense of us, man, it struggled, man. We didn't get enough pressure on Brock Purdy. Brock Purdy had his way. He was able to go out there and complete passes at will. I mean, Brock Purdy was literally slinging a rock all day, man. I got him, man, as his ratings is 19-29 for 220 yards, man, 2 TD, a 91.5 QBR, man. The guy was on fire all night, man. We had no answer. His main target was the guy, Brandon Ayuk, that put the most stress on our Hall of Famer, Patrick Peterson, all day to get 2 big catches over Pat P that I seen, one leading him to slip and fall. Of course, of his cleats, and skilled players always have cleat and sock problems, but just jumped and had a great play on Patrick Peterson and followed by another one. And overall, Brandon Ayuk had 8 receptions, 129 yards, and 2 tutties on the day, man. And he completely embarrassed the Hall of Famer that day, man. And hopefully Pat P can come out next week with a better showing. But Deebo Samuels had a quite moderate day, medium day, not a crazy day, but it was an okay day to get by for Deebo Samuel, man. So man, it was a lot of negatives, man. But I mean, games like this be hard to talk about, man. So
yeah, and I mean another thing that's hard to talk about is the performance of Kenny Pickett. It was a travesty. He was missing wide open throws. He was forcing the ball in places he didn't need to. Granted, you tend to do that more when you're down and you're getting pressured. The way the Steelers were down and the way he was getting pressured all game.
Yeah, and that's what we lacked of on defense was pressure, and those guys did exactly that, man. Those guys all over the place, man. Those guys were getting takeaways. Those guys were just doing everything they wanted, man. They had the defense of the 49ers was swarming to the ball on the edges, slowing down the jet sweep for Calvin Austin, making sure they contain the edges for speedy guys like that, not letting Najee Harris bounce the ball out to get to the edges and get on those corners and embarrass those corners out there. I mean, Lenore and Warner had a combined of 18 tackles. I mean, those guys were on fire all day. It was unbelievable on the inside, man. And Steelers had no answer for it. I mean, our guy Drake Jackson. I don't know him. We don't know him, but this guy showed up on a stat sheet similar to T.J. Watt with 3 sacks. Because our guy T.J. Watt came away with 3 sacks as well on Brock Purdy with 5 tackles, 1 TFL, and 3 quarterback hits. So 5 quarterback hits. So T.J. was on fire, but we need more than just T.J. to win a big game, especially going against a team like the 49ers. I mean, the road only gets her hard every week, man, and it just leaves me a lot of questions, man. With the poor play of the O-line, man, Caleb, I must ask you first, as Steeler Nation listens onto this, will we see more of Broderick Jones in week 2 due to the poor play of our left tackle, Dan Moore?
Obviously the hope is, we see Broderick, start to get that playing time. I think we have that chance to see him Broderick this week, whether it's at left tackle or right tackle with the concussion of Chooks. We'll see if he makes it. Granted, it's a Monday night game, so they get an extra day to recover. So there is a chance that, we don't see Broderick at all.
Okay.
But against Myles Garrett.
But once again, you keep saying Chooks. We talking about the competition between Dan Moore and.
Yeah, so I would.
Broderick.
It's week 2. It's against Cleveland. Dan Moore has, historically been Myles Garrett's father against them. So it's hard. It would be hard to sit him this week and then tell Broderick, hey, go block. He's not the best pass rusher in the NFL. I'll give him top 5, maybe. He don't I mean,
I don't want to cut you off here, though, guy, but I have to cut you off and say, well, at some point, someone threw Dan Moore out there and said, hey, go block this guy. Yeah. You know what I mean? So at this time, I wouldn't say it's not the right time, but I would say it's not the right time to do it now when you have a guy that did do it. But they can't be scared to play with fire and put him out there and let the young bull work, because right now, you never know. Dan Moore might be in a slump right now. He might just actually get his tail handed to him again with with the success of Myles Garrett over the years. And Myles Garrett ain't really have too many off games. Yeah. And as a D lineman, you can have off game. As an O lineman, you have an off game, people are going to the hospital. So we don't need that when you have a tough opponent like Myles Garrett. But I totally agree with you, man. I think it should keep Dan Moore out there over a guy that has been dominating for years. It leads to my second question. Not just for you, but for all the listeners over there, Steeler Nation, and all our fans out there that's waiting for this. I want y'all to answer these questions too, along with us. What is the secondary missing? Because they struggled all day, and the secondary has been under attack all game against the 49ers. The middle of the field has been wide open as the what C is that? That's kind of really wide open. I don't know. But anyway, answer that question there.
Physicality. They're missing the physicalness. They're missing the press in the
Terrell
situation.
Evans.
Yep. Then I mean, Joey Porter playing 7 snaps. He was 32nd overall pick. Shout out Chase Claypool, who was a bum this past week yet again. But
Wow.
yeah, I mean, we drafted the best press corner in the draft, longest arms, and he's only seeing 7 snaps when everybody else is getting absolutely just s'mored out there. It's like they're looking like s'mores. They're melted. They're nice and crisp. They're nice and crispy. It's just
well done and well done on the way out the stadium.
Yeah, it's.
I mean, I agree, man. The secondary did not look good out there. The secondary looked lost. The communication looks off. You have your leaders such as Pat P is missing big plays and not being the leader by example out there, and slipping and falling is unacceptable for a guy of his caliber. It happens, but it can't happen more than once. And once again, man, it's no excuses for things like that when you're a Pro Bowl. You know what I'm saying? And it's no excuse. So we expect more out of our key players, man. Levi has to step up more. Minka has played well, but I think we need to start letting Minka play more of the deep middle field, man. Let him just roam like not comparing him to Ed Reed, so please don't jump on my back, but let him play like Ed Reed, like plays. Let him run left to right. You know what I mean? Let him make the plays and find a ball and use his IQ that he knows how to use. That's why y'all paid him. So leads to my third question of Deontay Johnson is out with a hamstring injury. Who is your next guy up to fulfill his role?
Calvin Austin.
Why?
I've been high on him since we drafted him. Granted, we didn't get to see him last year, but he showed a whole lot of potential as far as his route running. He didn't get the ball much, but there was one crossing route that happened. Like Pickens came across and Calvin Austin came here, but Calvin threw the little shake,
little boop boop whoop boop.
little shake.
John, who was to say that? What's the commentator used to be on ESPN? He was like, whoop.
Yeah, whoop, whoop. Chris Berman. Yeah,
Chris Berman gave one of those.
Yeah, he gave him a little whoop whoop, and Ward went down, ankles broken, shattered, million pieces, gone. He shouldn't even buy the new 2K24 because his ankles are so gone. But
it's all good, man. It's all good because that ball never got thrown. And guess what? Better yet, to repay him back, Kenny Pickett threw him a pass, and he got him one for the day to repay him back for his ankles getting broke. So on the day, man, Kenny Pickett had a bad day throwing all those interceptions, throwing 2 of them, man, to him and Hafagu, whatever his name is, throwing 2 interceptions to 1.
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah, man. So Pickett repaid him back really well with giving him an interception, man, giving him a chance to go to the Pro Bowl this year, which we don't want to do that. But yeah, man, I think that it was just a bad day out front for those guys, man. But I think that, man, that's in the past. I think that those guys are definitely going to come out better, man. Like I listened to the press conference from Mike Tomlin after the game. He gave the 49ers utmost respect, man, gave them the most credit, man. That those guys stayed out of third and long, stayed out of unmanageable down. They stayed in within their schedule to keep them prospering every play. You know what I mean? Because that's what the Steelers are thriving for, to keep you behind the chains, behind long yardage, and to put a lot of blitzes and pressure on you to make you throw uncostly turnovers like picks and give up sacks and strip fumbles for TJ to get activated on. And they stayed away from those situations to continue to get success. And like you said, they didn't make the big plays when they needed. They didn't capitalize on big time moments and weighty opportunities to get to success on third down. But hey, it happens, and they said he had to give it to him. They got kicked in the teeth in a lot of ways. And that's the biggest quote he left. He got kicked in the teeth in a lot of ways. And 49ers, man, like I said, it's a good team, but the 49ers are definitely not a 30-7 beating team over the Steelers like that either. So,
no, we got too much talent. Too much talent.
Got too much talent on that team. We can't get them too much utmost respect like that. But 49ers definitely was the better team that day. Because, I mean, from the offensive side, they was capitalizing on everything they want. Christian McCaffrey was 22 carry, 152 yards, you know what I'm saying, 1 tutty. I mean, led by Trent Williams. He was opening up holes all day, man. Highsmith had a very quiet day for a guy that just got paid. I mean, at some point, you got to grow up, son. I mean, you're going against the big boy now. It's about time to at least beat him once, make him move his feet. I mean, Trent Williams was having his day against him. Like, there's plays that he just took one step and he was just in clamps. I was like, wow.
Yeah.
But once again, Highsmith is not that big of a player. So, hey, it's all good. It's only week 1. So we should see more out of the defense, man. Expect to see more people like Montravius Adams get more activated with the loss of Cam for a few weeks. You know what I mean? Your guy Benton should see more out of him. So I'm excited to see all these guys go out there and step up, man. Marcus Golden made a couple key plays last week. Man, it's a lot of bright spots there. My boy Landon Roberts showing up on the stat sheet, man, being there with the leading tacklers. I mean, he was all over the place as well with Quan Alexander. So, man, we should be good, man. We should be good moving forward, man. With all that being said, we're going to leave them in the past, and then we're going to continue to go forward. But before that, my last question to you and Steeler Nation is Matt Canada still in, or is he out in y'all minds so far?
Oh. Yeah, granted, it's not all his fault. It's not. It's, Kenny had a horrible day. But like Dan Orlovsky said, he was calling the same passing concepts over and 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 over again. Play calling's got to get better. Like I said before, preseason, it looked like he was drawing his plays in Sharpie. He's back to using crayons, colored pencil, invisible pens. Yeah, he does. It's sad to see. Hopefully it
That's
picks
my
up.
guy. Things have changed. It's my guy. He had to fill the NFL out. He had to fill them out week 1 to get everybody counting for those plays. They're gonna be practicing for those plays. Gonna hit them with something totally different this week. Because guess what? He had the Brownies come. Well, we have the Brownies on the road this week, right? On the road.
No, it's in Pittsburgh.
It's at home. Yeah. Well, yeah. They have the Brownies coming to town. I mean, it's no better time to redeem yourself in a city where you know the Brownies are about to travel to Pittsburgh. I think they need to just get rid of those new uniforms they got on now. Just go straight back to the old school steel curtain uniform because they need some pride coming into this game. Yeah, the Brownies coming to town and they coming in hot, beating the division rivals. Okay, division rival. Joe Burrow. Man, he only threw for 80-some yards, man. I mean, they had him on lock all day. Pressure was getting to him. Alex Garrett was getting to him. Defense was playing really, really well, man, for the Browns, man. Those guys are really showing up, creating a lot of turnovers because most of those points came from defensive turnovers. And, man, you got to give it to those guys. The defense is literally the leading part for the Browns right now. For the offense right now, for the Browns, man, I don't really see nothing that's wilding me by Deshaun's play. I don't see nothing by the offensive line. I mean, they just lost Conklin to a season-ending injury. Now they about to have a first-time starter going against TJ. So I'm super excited about that, about bringing the house on that guy to see how he respond in weighty moments, as Mike T was saying, those type of moments. But, I mean, I'm just thinking, if you keep pressure on Deshaun Watson, man, because he struggled literally trying to get out of those situations because the offensive line was literally getting caved in every play. Deshaun Watson was running for his life. And he was making stuff happen, man. That's the reason why they was able to continue to move down the field because he was getting out of those pockets. That's what's make Deshaun Watson. But if you get a guy like TJ, man, and Marcus Golden, those guys, and Highsmith, man, containing the pocket the real way they supposed to, and getting those guys caving in that inside pocket, man, it should be a lot of sacks going on. It should be a sack party back there in the backfield. What you think, Caleb?
Yeah, I mean, Coach Yost and Remember the Titans said it best. I think the game plan for the defense is, you will blitz all night. If they gain 1 yard, like it needs to look like what San Francisco did to us, where we had 1 yard, but right before we had a 95-yard drive, we had 1 yard
for sure.
That's what it needs to look like. That's what it needs to look like. They need to go and just punch Cleveland in the mouth, and I hope they have that mentality after getting punched in the mouth the way they did in week 1.
And I think that they should do that, man. Matt Canada should come back with a clear mindset, man, to understand that right now we have to let our front 5 guys up there run the table. The play only start by the O-line being able to accomplish their job. And how you do that, man, is clearing that box out. Get into a wide set, man. Take the tight ends and get into a detached formation, man, where those guys will get out, spread it out wide, get their hand off the ground, get in the 2-point stand, go like they're going to run a route, and let those 5 guys up front battle it out against they 5 guys, plus they 6 guys or 7 guys in the box and let Najee, man, make one of those guys miss, man. Let's let now Najee get going, get this momentum going. And then after that, you start to throw play action in, start throwing some small things. Let things come to Kenny Pickett. Let him catch the momentum. Because right now, last week was off. I mean, it was a lot of forced stuff there that wasn't there. It was a lot of plays. It was a lot of things going on that he couldn't control at that point. It was so bad. But now that's how you get a young guy back in his pace. Give him some small checkdowns, get him grooving, get him some short passes across the middle to 5 move, those things. And then guess what? Bow! Deep play to my day one GP. Because it's like boxing, man. You cover up one spot, you leave one thing open. So right now, it's only so much a defense going to keep taking before they say, hold up, let's come up a little bit. Let's stop all these little run, play fakes, these little dump down plays, check down. And then before you know it, now your face wide open. Boom, for the knockout. Touchdown of your head, GP. Hey, it's coming. Take notes, Matt Canada. I know you coach me. Now it's time for me to coach you, my guy. Let's go, man. Let's take what the defense gives us, man, and then let's move the ball down the field because, hey, Dan Moore is going to sun this guy, Myles Garrett. It's coming. This is his breakout game for the rest of the season.
Yeah, it's they like we said before. I think you got to use the athleticism we have at receiver. I know we're going to be missing Deontay. Not just receiver, tight end as well. Darnell Washington didn't get a single target last week. We only had like 7 carries, I think, as an offense total,
right.
Which granted the score is what made that the way it was. Go get the playmakers ball. Give Calvin Austin the ball in open space. He's one of the fastest people in the NFL. So you got to figure out a way to get the ball in his hands and not on a jet sweep.
Yeah,
it needs to be something more creative than that.
100%. And I think that, man, the Steelers are going to do just that, man. Once again, once you think about rivalry week, man, rivalry week is a different type of feeling, because it doesn't matter where you are in your point in your season. You can be 0-17, 0-16, don't matter. When you go against a rivalry opponent, man, like those guys, man, it's a different type of spark that sparks that week, man, because you know what it takes to win those type of games. And you play on Monday night. Man, these Steelers going to be well ready, man. Those guys will be definitely fired up. You don't need nothing to be motivated. Monday Night Football against a division opponent, man, in your own house, again, to redeem yourself from week 1. It's enough motivation there that it's needing to be no more spark there, man. They need to kill all the doubters with this one right here, man. And especially with Cleveland coming off that hot game week 1 against another division opponent like, I'm saying, the Bengals, man. And that's the only way we can keep victories, man, taking care of the division first, man. And I think that they have the biggest opportunity to do that this week coming up on Monday night. Big chance to give guys the opportunity to rest up, an extra day to rest people's heads like Chooks, man, that need that time. James Dane that need that time for stuff like him. All those guys, man, they got nicked up week 1, man. So, because it's a long season.
Yeah, and they need to get the dub. And speaking of the dub, let's get into our score predictions for this week. I'm gonna let you go first.
I think this gonna be a little shootout, man. I think this gonna be a shootout, and I think it's gonna be a shootout, not a high scoring shootout, but a shootout between the defenses. I think the defenses on both times gonna show up, so I think it's gonna be a shootout, but it's gonna be a low score. I say I give it to like a 21-19 game, 21-17 game here. I'm going 21-17. Steelers win at home, 21-17.
I like that. And the Steelers scoring over 20 points. That's only something they've done 8 times in the Canada era. So I could realistically, it's probably going to be a close game, but I'm going to go out on a limb and I'm going to say Steelers win. Let's go 24-0.
Whoa.
Yeah, we need a shutout. We need to shut these clowns out.
I cannot believe you said
clowns, Browns.
Did you really say realistically? This is terrible. I mean, wow. On that note, that concludes our episode with the 3-point stance tonight with my co-host, the one that goes out on a limb, realistically, Caleb the GOAT. Everhart in the building, and my boy, myself, D Great, man. Man, we appreciate y'all rocking with us, man. Man, after all these score predictions, man, tell me y'all score prediction, man. Let me know what y'all thinking, man, because we not the experts. We just talk ball. We just football junkies here, man. Let us know. Answer those questions I asked previously in the beginning of the podcast, man. Make sure y'all answer those questions down below. I just want to know some of y'all thoughts, man, and get ready for whiskey weekends. If it's whiskey weekends ever this week, you should know coming soon. It's Spooky-tober coming up, baby.
And the 3 Point Stance podcast. We'll see you in week 5 against Baltimore.
Boom.